All right, does anybody know the definition of a rational number? Let's start off with rational. Let's see what you know. What do you think?
It's decimals and integers.
Good. I like what she said. She gave you some good ideas. Any number, now we'll talk more about the decimals. I'm going to start off with any integer. What are integers? Give me an example of integers. Lizzie.
It could be a positive, negative, whole number.
Yeah, like 4, 3, 7, and she said negative numbers too, didn't she? Negative 10, negative 15, those are all integers. Are you with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And did you hear Bella talk about decimals? Are you with me? Certain decimals. Let's talk about the decimals. Our irrational number is any number that has a terminating decimal. What does terminating mean? Terminating. Nope. We'll get to repeating in a minute. What does terminate mean?
I think it might be like remove.
Say that again, I didn't hear you.
Like remove.
I still didn't hear you.
Something,
Removed?
like to remove like it.
If you terminate something, like when I go deer hunting, I terminate the deer's life. Stop. Terminate means to stop. Are you with me?
Oh.
So a terminating decimal is a decimal that stops. Like 1.7 is a terminating decimal. There's nothing after the 1.7. Are you with me? Okay. So we're going to talk more about decimals in just a minute. What else? What other kind of decimals are rational?
0.5.
Yeah, that would be terminating. That'd be the same.
0.9 repeating.
0.9 repeating. Any decimal that repeats is also rational. So we could have 2.66666 repeating. That is also rational.
Fractions.
Fractions, thank you. That's the most important part of a rational number. That is by far the best definition. Put a star by this one. Ooh, that's an ugly star. Try again, Murphree. There we go. Any number that can be written as a fraction. That is the best definition for a rational number. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All of these are fractions. Now watch, how can I write the number 3 as a fraction? 3 over what? 1. Y'all agree 3 over 1 is a fraction? Any fraction is automatically a rational. What about this number, 1.7? How can I write that as a fraction?
You write the 1.
Yeah.
And then you write 7/10.
Very good. Do y'all agree with Bella that that is
Yes.
1 7/10? How about 0.666 repeating? How can that be written as a fraction? Ethan.
2 2/3.
Baby, my man. 2 2/3. 2/3 is what makes the repeating 6 at the end. Are you with me? So every number that can be written as a fraction is automatically going to be in the rational column. Are you with me? What about this? 21 over 7? Yep. Isn't that a fraction?
Yes.
If you see a fraction, boom, it goes here instantly. We'll talk about some that are not rational in just a minute. Most of the numbers that you deal with in math will fall into this category. This is the popular category. Are you with me? This is where most of them are going to fit. So far, I like our definition. This is the big one, though. Any number that can be written as a fraction is automatically boom. Questions so far? Let's move on to the other category. this one is not as popular because we don't deal with this column as much. Irrational. I need a definition. Anybody think they know the definition? Bella?
Like the opposite of rationals, like, fractions that, or not fractions, but like numbers you can't turn into fractions.
She's on it today. Any number that can't be written as a fraction. And you're probably wondering, how is that? We'll talk about it. Here's the most famous irrational number. Who knows what that is? Madison? Pi. Pi is a never-ending, never-repeating decimal. It's 3.14.
1.5.
What? 156?
1.5. No, I think it's 1.59.
159? And then I'm going to put dots here. Why?
Because we don't do it.
We could figure out the rest, but it goes on for ever and never stops. And there's never a pattern. Are you with me? Nothing repeats. So here's another good part we're going to add to this. This is my best definition of an irrational number. It is non-repeating. Put a star by this. Non-repeating. Never-ending. Decimals. All irrationals, their decimals go on forever. That's the never ending. They go on forever. And they never repeat, just like pi. The numbers out here in the decimal don't ever form a pattern. They never repeat. They always change it up. Question?
Wouldn't 0 be irrational too? Because you can't, 0 over 0 is not like a fraction.
Let's talk about 0 for a minute. Can I write 0 as a fraction? Why not? Well, if I can't write 0 as a fraction, then we can't write 3 as a fraction.
Yes, we
Can we write 3 as a fraction?
Yeah.
3 over?
1.
Can I write that as a fraction?
No.
What, 0 over 1?
They both can be written as a fraction. 0 is rational. Because 0 divided by 1 is 0. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 10 divided by 1 is 10. We can always write a number over 1 and make it rational. That makes sense. Good question. All right, let's look at some more irrational numbers. Are you ready? Now, here's where the multiplication chart comes in handy. You're about to see it pop up again. Can anybody tell me what the square root of 49 is? What is the square root of 49? Ethan.
7.
Do y'all agree with my man Ethan? Does 7 times 7 really make 49?
Yes.
He's right. So it's the square root of 49. Is it going to be in this column? Is it going to be irrational? No, it doesn't make a never-ending decimal. Are you with me? What about the square root of 64?
No, it's 8. And it's rational.
Let's get somebody who hadn't helped yet. You've helped a lot. Thank you. Let's go with Gonzalo. What's the square root of 64? Somebody already said it if you were listening. Oh, he's not in here. Gonzalo sits there in third, fourth period. My bad. Jonathan, what is the square root of 64? What number times itself makes 64? Bless you. 8. Do y'all agree with Jonathan that 8 times 8?
Yes.
So is square root of 64 rational or irrational?
Rational.
That's rational again. Are you with me? But any number between these two, like the square root of 50, pick up your calculator, please. Here's where the calculator is going to come in handy. Now, you need to find the square root button. It is on the left-hand column, and it's in blue above x squared. Are you with me? It's right here. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth button from the left, top left. Right here.
I know what it is.
So hit blue, and then hit the x squared button, and the square root symbol will pop up on your screen. Now type in the number 50, and hit enter. And the calculator will tell you what the square root of 50 is.
7.07106.
All right, I'm going to put it down here. Square root of 50 is, according to my calculator, 7.071067812. Does it stop right there?
No, it keeps going.
Right, my calculator says it stops. That's where it stops. No, it keeps going. Are you with me? The calculator only reads 10 numbers. So even though it quit giving you numbers, there's more after it. Are you with me? The square root of 50 is irrational because it keeps going and it never makes a pattern. There's no repeating numbers. Like 071, and then it goes 067, then it goes 812. I can't pick up any kind of pattern that the numbers are making. Are you with me? All right. So this would go in the irrational column. What about, oh, that's too easy. Type in 1/9. 1 divided by 9. Hit enter. That's repeating once. Would that be, that goes on forever.
But it's irrational.
Why?
Because it keeps going.
You mean rational.
Yeah.
Because it's a pattern. Good. So 1 divided by 9 turns out to be a decimal that goes on forever. But it's the same number. It's a repeating one. So that one goes in the rational column. Are you with me? Irrationals never repeat, never end. All right, let's talk about another one. Square root of 81.
9.
It's 9. Is that rational or irrational?
Rational.
That would go in the rational column because the square root of 81 is 9. Are you with me? Good, so the calculator is going to be a great tool to help you figure out what is rational, what's irrational. Your question?
On the top one, is that the only one that does that?
No, there's a bunch. But again, hold up. Wasn't the definition of rational anything that can be written as a fraction? And isn't that a fraction? So it should be in the rational column. These can't be written as a fraction. So as soon as I write the fraction, you're like, come on, Murphree. That's got to be irrational. Okay. Irrational numbers are typically square roots that are not perfect squares. Are you with me? What is a perfect square?
Both sides the same.
Yes, but on your multiplication chart, what numbers are perfect squares? I'll give you one. 4 is a perfect square.
20.
20 is not a perfect square. 25 is, because 5 times 5 is 25. 36 is a perfect square. 81 is a perfect square. 64, 121, 144. Are you with me? Those numbers are what we call perfect squares. Because 11 times 11 makes 121. And 121 can be written as a perfect square. 11 on this side, 11 on that side. If you think about the word perfect square, a perfect square has to be the same size on both sides. 8 times 8 is what? 64 forms a perfect square of 8 times 8. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, irrational numbers, these are any of the square roots that are not a perfect square, like 63. Type it in, square root of 63. It's going to be a really long decimal, and it ain't ever going to end. Sure. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not repeating, and I know it never ends. All right, so do we have a decent grasp on what's rational versus irrational?
Yeah.
Good. So today's homework, they may give you a problem like this. And it may be a word problem. Let's say Mr. Murphy's building a garden. And I want the area to be 70 feet. Are you with me?
Yes.
And I want it to be a square. And I might ask you, how long are the sides? And then I might ask you, is the side rational or irrational? Let's discuss. All right. First of all, somebody help me figure out how we can figure the sides of my garden, how long they're going to be. Layla.
Do the square root of it?
My girl. Thank you. I usually say my man for the boys, so I'll say my girl. Do y'all agree with Layla?
Yes.
That if we're making this garden a square, we know the area is 70, she wants to take the square root of 70.
What's it?
Pick up your calculator, type it in. What's the square root of 70?
8.3666000265.
Is it rational
No.
or irrational?
Irrational.
Okay, good. So for today, if it's an irrational number, only give me the first two decimals. So what was it? 8.36. So how long are each side? I'm going to put 8.36, but I'm going to put some little dots so you know that that number really goes on forever. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. And you already said it is irrational. Very nice. I think our brains are in the right spot. So today's lesson is going to be asking you questions like this and asking you kind of, do you understand rational versus irrational in the word problem? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're ready for the homework.